So you can see here we've got everything from very bearish to mildly bearish, neutral, mildly bullish, very bullish. You might then say, okay, fine. How do I determine what the current market bias is? Well, we have a completely mechanical way to determine these 5 levels of bias, which I'll show you in a sec. Okay. So if our so-called traffic light report says today's market condition is mildly bearish, then what these 2 numbers here do is that it gives you a range at which you should repoint or recalibrate your trade to have a certain position delta for your trade. So typically, if it's going to be, if the market is mildly bearish, we're going to be leaning slightly negative delta, and this is going to tell you a range. So this is going to be, from minus X to minus Y kind of thing, and you'll know exactly what your position delta should be now reconfigured to, in order for your trade to now be so-called balanced, right? And then if the day after that there's a huge bullish move up and whatever, and the market condition now flips over through to very bullish, now these 2 numbers over here they're going to give you the range for which you should now be leaning slightly positive delta, right? But what I do want to make clear is that this is not for us to consider our trade to be a directional trade. The trade is actually a neutral trade, but what this is actually a form of hedging. And let's start to try and make things interactive over here. So if the market is going down and I want to it's a traditional income trade. Our traditional income trade is going to be negative vega. Okay, so what that implies is that if the volatility spikes, a negative vega is going to cause a loss of money. So by us leaning slightly negative delta, then we're actually going to make money on delta, even though we're going to lose money on vega. Okay, so it's basically a hedge against the vega losses that we're going to take. Now, on the flip side of things, if we now have market conditions that are bullish, and we now want to now lean bullish deltas slightly, again, we're not turning it into a directional trade. We're just using this as a form of hedge. Can anyone guess what we might be hedging against? Because volatility, normally when the market goes up, volatility is going to come down. So we may actually be making some money from volatility. So why would we want to potentially be hedging in some way when the market goes up? Anyone want to take a guess? I guess it's actually a bit of a tricky one. And what goes on here is that there's another variable, something called skew. And what tends to happen is that more frequently than not, when the market goes up, skew is actually something that works against us in a similar way to when the market goes down, volatility works against us. Typically, when the market goes up, skew works against us. So by leaning slightly bullish deltas, that hedges us from the skew going against us, right? So again, I just want to make clear, even though we have this stuff here, do not think that what we're doing is doing directional trading. This is a delta neutral trade, but we're using this as one of the various forms of hedging that we use in our trading.